Hello, my name is Andrew, and I will be representing my group, which includes myself, Chris Normale, and Brandon Aguilar. For our MAE M20 project, we recreated the iconic Snake game, but we added new game mechanics, thus creating Snake 2 through our MATLAB code. The goal of our final project was to demonstrate our mastery of the M20 course content, hence we felt the best way was to make a new game that built upon the original Snake game. Our motivation stems from desire to meet that goal and also just create a fun project. Diving into how the code works, the foundation of the code is built on a 20 by 20 matrix that serves as a game board. And using this, we can assign numbers and track the position of the snake, the predator, the obstacles, and the apple. In our array, which is constantly updating, we can assign 0 as empty space, positive values as the snake, and negative numbers are the apples, obstacles, and the predator. Diving into the game mechanics function, and we'll just give a brief overview. The obstacles, for example, are set as -2 on the array, and just as the original, whenever the snake hits a wall, it dies. So same here, there's 10 randomly placed obstacles, and so whenever the snake head hits the obstacles, it dies. The next game mechanic is the season. So every game loop, which is counted as for every 50 game loops, which is tracked as every 50 ticks in our code, the game will change seasons in the chronological order. So this means that it will start in the spring, the typical season, like as in the original Snake game, so it's very bright, lush, is green. But once it hits summer, it can increase the speed of the snake and the predator, and it also causes a visual change, so it just turns yellow. And this is the same thing for fall, although fall there's no speed effect, and for winter, same thing, visual change, it changes to blue, but it actually does decrease, so it's very fitting for the seasons. We thought that was a very interesting mechanic. And our next mechanic is the predator, which is really cool because it's really difficult. It really changes up the approach to how you have to play Snake, because in Snake it's more easy and casual, but with the predator it's really difficult, and you really have to take your time to approach and how are you going to maneuver to eat the apple. So as in the code, the predator is actively moving, so it's always approaching your snake head, and just as the obstacles and the walls, whenever the predator makes contact with your snake head, you die and you lose. So just diving into how our code works, we have our title, our clear class section, and then our rest of the code is sectored into steps. So our first step is just to initialize the GUI figure, which is just to set up the game board, make it so the user can visually see the game. Our second step is to see the video export. So cool mechanic not a cool mechanic, but cool feature we added is that whenever you play the game and whenever you die or win, your gameplay is uploaded as an MP4 file, and it's exported to your downloads folder. So that's a cool little feature. And our mechanics, they're imported. They reference our local functions, which we have listed at the bottom. And step 5, skipping step 4, which is also a new mechanic. Step 5, here is our main game loop. So it's just basically a big while loop. So while the loop is true, this means that the snake is alive. While the loop is false, you win or it's game over. We also have a game tick, and also our season effect mechanic. And here's our moving predator mechanic. So the predator is split into 2 mechanics, one for the initial position and also for the movement of the predator by itself. Here's our step 8, check boundaries, just as the original snake. So whenever you hit the balls, the snake dies. Here's the snake movement. So this is just tracking, like I said, tracking the snake by using the array. So we're assigning numbers, and whenever it eats an apple, it grows. Here's updating the GUI, so adding in all of our mechanics for the user to see. Here's our video frame, so just make sure that the gameplay is being properly exported to an MP4 file. And here is our end screen for 12, step 12. So theoretically, you can win. So the only way to win, just as an original Snake, is that you fill up all the empty space. And it's really challenging because not only do you have the predator hunting you, you also have the obstacles. Depending on the RNG, or basically how lucky you get with the obstacle placement, the obstacles can be really hard and practically impossible in some cases. But theoretically, it is possible. Most of the time, I've got the game over message because it's really difficult. And here's more into our function for the obstacles. So this is the code. So basically, we're just telling the code that we want it to be randomly placed, and we want there to be 10. Here's the function for the place predator. So again, the predator will be randomly placed, and here's the code for it, and then here's the movement for the predator. So again, this is just the code, just giving the predator the code just to know where it has to move in relation to the snake. We also had this cool change here, so it has a 25% chance to randomly change the direction. This is just to make sure that the predator is not predictable. Although the predator already has an advantage, it's more of the player is in the disadvantage. And this is just to make sure the predator is not in an apple or obstacle cell. And here's the collision. And here is the function code for the seasonal effects. So we use a switch case. So whenever you need a switch, we can refer to the specific cases which refer to the different seasons. So here, spring, the default game speed is at 0.2. We also have our color map, which can change the colors of all of our elements. So summer, faster speed, it's more yellow. Fall, this go back to the default speed, but it's more brownish colors. And winter, you do have solar speed, and it's more blue. And lastly, step 17, here's our keyboard control. So we use the function, the key press callback, which just allows the user to use the arrow keys to control the snake. Great, now let's show you a live gameplay of the Snake 2 code. When I hit run right here, it's gonna jump me straight into it. So I'm gonna get ready. Okay, we got a good spawn. So the apple is right next to me and the predator is far away. So you can see, so whenever the snake eats apple, it grows. I'm trying to avoid the predator. So you see the predator, it's still actively hunting me. So that's why you have to use the obstacles to your advantage. But with the summer's change, you can see that I was briefly moving for a faster period, but so was the predator too. And then with the fall season, there's no effect. It goes back to the default game speed, but it does visually change, so a little bit more brownie. And here's the winter season. So icy blue, and both the predator and snake are slowed down. But yeah, look at this predator. Definitely more difficult than the regular game. And with spring, I go back to the default game speed, and the whole loop repeats itself. So I don't know if you saw that too. The predator just ate my apple. That's definitely difficult. So I'm gonna show you what happens when you collide with the predator, and there you go. So I guess I'll let the snake eat the predator, but the head-on collision. So the predator basically got me. Collision, game over. Unfortunate. But yeah, that's the live demo. Now for our final remarks, we are satisfied with our final product and what we were able to achieve. If we could do it again and if we had more time, we would improve the snake and predator movement. This would mean that making the snake move more smoothly and honestly nerfing the predator, because the current state that the predator is in, it's overpowered, it moves too quick. So improvement would just be to decrease the steps it takes, not for every loop, but for every 2 or 3 game loops, just to give the user a chance. We would also like to implement better user interface, such as maybe a pause or a main menu. And I guess like a little fun little feature, maybe like a little improvement we could add. We could add a campaign with a story in the future, just like those cool math games. Add a little campaign, maybe the snake saves the princess. I don't know. This is just for some thoughts. But yeah, Other than that, I speak on behalf from my group, and we approve this video to be posted on the class YouTube playlist for extra credit. Thank you for watching.